Imagine there's a man in Chennai. Every morning he pushes a tiny tea cart onto the side of the crowded street. 10 rupees a cup. A customer just walks up, scans the QR code taped to the side of his cart, and instantly sends money within seconds. But now, here's the strange part. In the United States, that's the world's largest financial economy, bank transfer can still take up to 3 business days to settle. But here in India, in Chennai, this tea seller gets paid almost instantly. Yes, it's the same planet, the same year, and 2026. Honestly, I don't think most people realize how strange this actually is. Because India was not really trying to build one of the world's most advanced payment systems in the world. It wasn't Valley, it wasn't Wall Street. It happened because India had one problem, a really messy one. Back in 2011, more than half of Indian adults didn't even have a bank account. No identity, no credit history, and no digital footprint. And this became a huge issue for the government, who were trying to distribute welfare money to millions of people. Food subsidies, employment schemes, fuel support, and the real money was somehow leaking. This was because there were paperwork errors, middlemen, and duplicate records. At one point, the estimates suggest that nearly 40% of every single rupee failed to reach the intended person. And eventually, the government realized that this wasn't just a banking problem, this was an identity problem. And because you cannot move money efficiently in the system when you don't even know who even exists, so India started building identity infrastructure first. And this is where Aadhaar enters the story. Today, Aadhaar covers over 1.3 billion people. Combined with Jan Dhan accounts, India has added more than 500 million bank accounts in just less than a decade. But once billions of people enter the banking system, India ran into another problem. Now, the problem was that how do these bank accounts even talk to each other? And this is where things get even weird. Most countries never rebuild the infrastructure beneath banking. They just add modern looking apps on top of old systems. Yes, Apple Pay, Google Pay, they feel futuristic. But underneath, a lot of global banking still runs on decades old card networks. And those systems were never really designed for our tea seller. They were built for department stores, hotels, and large retailers because once the transaction fees enter the picture, small payments just stop making sense. And in US, merchants can still lose up to 1.5 to 3.5% on card transactions. The settlements take days, but in India, the payments are settled in seconds. Same planet, same year, completely different financial architecture. And this is the moment where India asked a radical question. What if payments work like financial infrastructure, public infrastructure, and that single decision changed everything? UPI. UPI was launched in 2016 with just 21 banks connected. Today, more than 700 banks are integrated into the network, and transaction volume has grown over more than 12,000 times in less than a decade. India now accounts for nearly half of the global real time digital payments. Not just half of India, not just half of Asia, half of the entire world. And honestly, this is the point where the story feels much larger than just financial payments because the real breakthrough was not speed, it was behavior. You scan, you tap, and done. That simplicity changed human behavior incredibly fast. Street vendors, auto drivers, tiny shops, they started accepting digital payments. And you know who this system was really built for? Around 86% of merchant UPI transactions are below 500. Tea, groceries, auto rides, tiny everyday movements. Every transaction becomes a data, and the data slowly became financial identity. This is because our T seller is now no longer financially invisible. Every payment becomes part of proof, the proof of activity, income, and consistency. And over time, this proofs become access. He can have access to loans, credit, and financial tools, just like everyone else. So, by 2026, UPI linked credit transactions have crossed rupees 10,000 crores every month, and now countries around the world are studying this wonderful infrastructure very seriously. From Singapore, UAE, France, Nepal, and even Sri Lanka. They're not just studying the apps, they're studying the architecture beneath them. Because India did not just improve digital payments, it has challenged the very assumption that moving money should be slow, expensive, and fragmented. UPI has changed everything. And once people experience this instant money movement, it becomes very difficult to go backwards because the best infrastructure eventually disappears. You stop noticing it, and money just flows. And maybe that's the strangest part of this entire story. Most of the advanced financial systems on earth were built because a country, India, was trying to solve a welfare leakage problem, not because it wanted to dominate fintech. And yet, now much of the world is quietly studying the architecture India has built. But there's still one unresolved question. If UPI transactions are basically free, then why are the companies built on top of UPI worth billions? Because the answer isn't payments, it's something much bigger. And once you see it, you start looking at every app on your phone very differently. I'll now leave you with this thought and see you next time. Thank you.